was a man named Mario.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. In this story, Mario ventures into space, exploring cosmic worlds and tackling galactic challenges far from the familiar Mushroom Kingdom. Guys, can you believe that we are living in a time where the Mario Brothers have their own animated film franchise? I mean, when you stop to think about their video game legacy, from how it started, the other spin-off games, and the expansion of characters and the universe, it is bewildering of what it has evolved into. The spin-offs, the fan base, the merch, the cartoon, the one live-action movie that no one likes to talk about. 3 years after the surprising smash hit, we finally get a follow-up that isn't just reeling in the kids and their parents, but also catering to the dedicated fans. Now, I've definitely grew up in the Nintendo 64 era of Super Mario games, such as Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., Mario Party 2 and 3, Mario Tennis, and those are the kind of my go-to games when it came to playing with my brother and sister, as well as my cousins. And I think once the GameCube came out, we sort of just tapered off playing video games regularly. I mean, my brother was more of the gamer, I was more of the movie guy, so I spent more of my money on DVDs and Blu-rays. And I played Super Smash Bros. Melee, but that's about it. So pretty much anything involving the Galaxy era of the Super Mario games, including characters like Rosalina, the Lumas, or pretty much any character that came after or later on into the universe, is surpassed my knowledge of the ongoing story thread. So for the filmmakers to choose a story like Super Mario Galaxy as their next installment, I wasn't sure what to expect. The first movie was pretty divided between critics and fans, as I landed on the camp that thoroughly enjoyed it. This sequel also got a low Rotten Tomatoes score, thinking that the results would be the same. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to stand between the general audience and the critics on this one, because while there are a lot of visual treats and homages that are paid towards the loyal fans and the casual viewers to chew on, this sequel is an overbloated sizzle reel with a messy narrative. Now hold up, that is not to say that I didn't enjoy this film, but if you want to compare it to the first movie, there is at least a simplified story to follow, especially with the characters, the kingdoms, the mechanics, and the iconic themes that the IP is very much known for. I mean, if you stop to ask me what the plot of the Super Mario Galaxy movie is about, to tell you the truth, I don't know where to begin. They're trying to run with the template of the video game that they've advertised, that they're trying to adapt, but at the same time, they're also trying to propel a lot of the plot points that they set up in the first movie. It's almost like if you got a video game, right? And you decide to just play the mini games without actually trying to play the main story. And while the argument can be made yes, that's what video games are, that's what they're supposed to do, that's how it works, this is a movie adapting a video game. The story has to matter, especially when in a video game experience you are making choices yourselves when you're playing one, and then for a movie you need to have a clear narrative, especially one that everyone, including the fans, could latch onto. Getting right into it, we got Chris Pratt and Charlie Day reprising their iconic brotherly roles, Mario and Luigi. And anybody else who had an issue just like myself about the brothers being separated for majority of the runtime in the first movie will probably be pleased this time around, because they are doing a lot of things together. The boys aren't necessarily given much of an arc to achieve, but they are just kind of planet hopping here and there and doing what Mario and Luigi do best, which is other than plumbing. Other than the dual adventures as well as the fights that they work so well on, I really adore that Pratt and Day get to really riff off one another a lot more this time around. We also got Anya Taylor-Joy reprising her role as Peach, and once again do they address her unexplained origins, and right then I had an inkling about where they were headed with her character arc. I do appreciate Taylor-Joy for delivering a much more impacting and emotional performance this time around. Peach is also given a mission which was a lot more action-centric than I was expecting it to be, especially when it comes to this one set piece involving an underground casino. Kong is sorely missed in here, but I do not miss Seth Rogen voicing him at all. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad, and he's given a lot more to do this time around, but I do appreciate more when he's just like mad jealous when Yoshi comes into the picture because he's just hanging out with the boys. Speaking of Yoshi, Donald Glover, the actor, the artist, who I've definitely been championing since I first saw him in Community, was so passionate about the Nintendo universe that he wanted to campaign for the voice of Yoshi. He got in touch with the producers, he promised fans that his contribution to the role was going to be traditional, and for the most part, he pretty much succeeds in the same way that Vin Diesel does for Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he pretty much just says his name and a few vocal sound effects. It sounds pretty spot on, but if you want to identify that it is Donald Glover behind the voice, I mean, you just have to imagine him in a little booth with a microphone going, Yoshi! I can't do it. I mean, he too doesn't have a story arc. I mean, he instantly just pairs up with the Super Mario Brothers, making them a little bit of a trio on this adventure. And I mean, they managed to make a lot of the sequences where he's swallowing people and pooping them out like eggs still pretty funny. Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. was the true MVP of this movie. I mean, he has some great action sequences and you really get to root for him as a villain, especially with his overall goal to rescue and appeal to his father. And speaking of which, Jack Black returning as Bowser once again, he is the embodiment of that character, and every single time he's given the spotlight, he just lands all of his puns and comedic timing just so perfectly. I also truly admired the father and son dynamic where they're trying to make up for lost time. Junior wants to kill Mario, but at the same time, Bowser is having conflicting feelings about it. I mean, they truly do remind me so much of Dr. Evil and Scotty in the Austin Powers trilogy that I really wish we got to spend more time with them. So before this, I knew nothing about the character of Rosalina, so for someone like Brie Larson, who is also a diehard gamer of the IP, to be just as ecstatic and proud to be voicing this particular princess has resulted in a magnificent opening, as well as a jaw-dropping introduction to the character. And I was a little disappointed that Rosalina does get kind of sidelined. She gets benched for a huge chunk of this story, but nothing disappointed me more than the studio revealing an integral Nintendo character making their first screen debut a week before the release of this movie. Now, if you don't already know who this character is, I won't spoil it for you here, but I had to make sure at the time that my lady, Leanne, stayed away from the new poster and also the promo where they had the voice actor that they chose and also in costume of the character that he was going to be playing. And I couldn't believe it. It was just all over the internet. I couldn't avoid it because of my stupid algorithm. And finally having to see the movie, Leanne's initial reaction was just as exciting as I was when I first saw Spider-Man No Way Home, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield came onto the scene. And that's what I wanted from my entire auditorium. And I'm glad that she got that. But I think it would have been just such a cinematic moment. I mean, people had their theories and all that kind of stuff, but it's just one thing to be confirming it when you're watching it for the very first time versus the internet telling you. Overall, this was all set up and no story. A collection of scenes and references of Nintendo characters just doing things without actually and properly adapting the Super Mario Galaxy game. While Illumination Studios continues to execute a phenomenal job on the technical side of things, I refuse to accept that just okay or bad storytelling is just because it's for the fans or if it's because it's a kid's movie. I mean, people are still talking about Studio Ghibli and Pixar movies. Those are great. Kids are still watching it to this day. Even those movies that are before their time. And I know I dog on it a lot, but Five Nights at Freddy's 2 definitely deserved better. Regardless about what I think or what I had to say, if you like the first movie, you might like the second movie all in the same. Don't forget to stick around for the 2 post-credit scene. 1 post-credit scene, I think we might be kind of headed in a particular direction with the next story. And the second post-credit scene, we could get a little bit of a hint of who we could possibly see next as an iconic Nintendo character for the next installment. Well, alright guys, that's all I got to share about that movie. Go ahead and check it out on the big screen if you want. Look forward to more reviews. I am Jaren Agbanawag. I want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of the day to hear me talk some movies. I'll see you guys at the theater. In the meanwhile, take care.
But me and Bowser Jr. will get Mario once more. But Yoshi is now in their crew. He's a cool little freaky dinosaur.